Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to be showing you step by step how I made this flow edit inside of DaVinci Resolve. I'll show you how I did my transitions, one frame as effects, and also how I got this tracer effect using a paid plugin. You can use the timestamps on the left side of your screen and in the description to easily follow along. Also, if you don't want to watch the full tutorial, you can buy this project file from my PayHip, link in the description, where there are also other free projects that you can get as well. Alright, with that being said, let's get started. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is sync our clips and do our time remaps. If you already know how to do your time remaps and syncing of clips, you can skip to this part of the video. So here I have this clip right here and I want to sync it to the timer here using my time remap. First thing I'm going to do here is right click on my clip and then go to change clip speed. And then from here, I'll just reverse the speed just like that. And then I'll go into my media pool up here and then I'll hit C. Oh, I'm gonna right click and then make a new compound clip, add it to my media pool, close that, and then go to the marker down here. And from here, I'm going to go into my Fusion panel. You can click E or you can just open in Fusion. I have mine binded to E. Then from here, you're going to hit Control Shift Space. Then you're going to add a time stretcher node right there. Then from there, you're going to go to the beginning of your comp, hit the keyframe, go to the end of your comp, and then put this number right here. That's down here, put it in here. So it's going to be 34 right there. Once that's done, you want to go to your spline panel. And in your spline panel, you're going to make sure you click into the empty space. Make sure you always click and then Control A, S to make the graph smooth, and then F to make the graph bigger, and then you're going to make a graph that looks like this. Hold Control and drag this up. We're going to make a really dramatic graph right here, then hold Alt and then drag this like this and then bring it down so that we can have some slack in our graph. Right, once that's done, you should have something that looks like that. I feel like that looks extremely perfect. Then you're going to drag your time stretcher node, go to the media in one and then hit Shift Space and add an optical flow node right here. And then you're going to go into your time stretcher node here, click on flow, clamp edges, preview next, and then just let it render out. Once that's done, you have something that looks like this. I feel like that looks cool. Then from there, you go to your marker and just cut out the excess right there. Right, so from there, we have this scene right here, but I feel like it's too short and I wanted to reach this marker here. So I'm going to hit Control R and just drag it up like that. And then you have something that looks like that. That's perfect. Then we're just going to close this here. And then for this clip, it's basically just this random clip of someone in church that looks really chaotic. So I wanted to make it a little bit more chaotic. So you want to hit Control R once more and then drag this to this marker down here. What you're going to see is that it's super dramatic. It's just like super dramatic. Right, so for my next scene right here, it's just a scene of multiple crosses. This is the original scene right now. So how they basically made this match cut, and I'll show you how they did this, was they took like some guides. You can activate your guides in DaVinci by going down here and activating them and then zooming in and making sure the crosses are in line with the small cross, right? I'm sure the cross was up here, but you get the whole point. And I tried to recreate this myself to show you guys you can actually make this as well. I got this scene as well of a church, just a random church, and then I zoomed it in and I also matched it together with the other scene. As you can see right there, that's actually perfectly matched. And I did the same thing for this one as well, which is just this clip originally looks like this. And I went into the clip, and inside of the clip I added film grade and I added an S invert, or you can add an invert, and then I made it orange. I took the scale lights down and I took the offset darkness down a bit. And then from there they added like a CRT on top. I'll show you how they did that later on. Right, then from there we have this scene of a lamb. This is the original scene. It looks like this. So I basically just zoomed it in up here, as you can see, and then I cut off one frame of it and then I offsetted it by this much using the X position as well as this part right here, and then gives this glitchy effect. Super cool. And then from there we have this scene of a baby. Let me turn off my guides. Then from there we have this classical painting again that's slightly moving, as you can see right there. And then this is another classical painting of Jesus, slightly zooming in. The original looks like this. And then another classical painting. This is basically a picture I got off of Pinterest. It's just a still. So I added this to my timeline and then I went to the next scene, cut it off and then zoomed it in right there. Then I did it for the next scene, and then finally the last scene. Then from there again, another picture of Jesus from Pinterest, and I added this. I zoomed it in up here using my control panels. Same thing for this picture, same thing for this one. And then from there I have multiple classical paintings that look similar and are match cut to the eye right here. So if we activate our guides, you can see the cross would have been up here, and when you go through it, that's how you do the match cuts, and it slightly zooms in. I'll show you guys how to do all of this later on in the video. Then from there we have this scene from 7, which is just basically just this scene right here, nothing crazy. So I basically got the clip, I zoomed it in, and then I made sure it was 7 daily sins right there. Then I made sure it cut to the words just like this pretty easily, and then transitions out. All right, so from here we're now going to do our transitions and our movements. I'm going to add an adjustment layer over the first clip just like this, and then I'm going to go into the fusion panel of this adjustment layer, and then from here I'll go up here and grab a transform node and then go to the second last frame, keyframe, and then go back 5 frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keyframe again once more. Go to the end right here, not the end, but the end right here. And then I'm just going to take the value up here on my center, but quite a bit, right? Maybe that much. Then from there, I'm going to go to my edges, hit mirror edges, and then I'm going to hit shift space once more. Easy offset by Ikawa, and add it to my node tree. Then from there, you're going to go to the last frame, keyframe, the offset X right here, and then go back to the second last frame and then take this all the way down. Then from there, we're going to mess with our spline panels. So we're going to click on your transform node, go to your spline area, and again, we're going to go over this again. So click in the empty space, Control A, S, F, and then make a graph that's really sharp like this. Right, once that's done, you're going to have something that looks really dramatic, just like that. I feel like that looks perfect. We're going to make this look better with one framers and effects. And then from here, we're going to add a dynamic zoom. So you're going to go into the fusion panel and you're going to grab a transform node once more and go to the beginning of your composition, hit on size, and go to the end of your comp, hit on size once more, and then just slightly zoom in, not too much. Then go into your spline panel right there. Again, Control A, and just make sure you click this right here so that your graphs are always straight. You don't want the graphs to be smooth when you're doing dynamic zooms. All right, once that's done, you have something that slowly zooms in like that. I feel like that looks perfect. Right, so from there, I'm going to grab this adjustment layer, hold Alt, and put it over the other clip, and then just bring it down so that it too has a slow zoom in, as well as this part right here. So we're going to grab this, add an adjustment layer over this whole sequence right here so that it slightly zooms in, but I'll make the zoom slightly faster. So we're going to go into the fusion panel once more, and then I'm just going to zoom it in by a lot more. So I'm going to go to the end of our comp and I'll just zoom it in a lot more, just like that. I feel like that's perfect. Right, once that's done, again, make sure your spline panels are kept straight like this, and you're going to have something that looks like that. All right, I think that looks perfect. And then from here, we're going to grab this Ikawa easy offset slide that we made here, and we're going to put it over the goat one as well. So just make sure it's cut like this, and then you're going to have a slight transition like that, which is really cool. Then from here, we're going to add a slight zoom in as well. Not too much, just like enough. All right, I think that looks cool. Same thing from here, put another slight zoom in. You really want to add dynamic zooms on static images because it gives it that motion feel. We're going to add another dynamic zoom here as well. And from there, we're going to take the same one and just make sure it extends throughout the whole thing. Go into your fusion panel and then go to the end of your comp, keyframe again, go to the second keyframe, remove it, and then go to your graphs once more, Control A, and then just make this super straight right there. And then you're going to have this slight zoom in. I'll make it like quite dramatic like that. Then you're going to have that sequence of slow zoom ins. And it looks 10 times better. Actually, it does look 10 times better. All right, so I'm just going to add slight zoom ins to the rest of the clips right here. Then from there, I'm going to hold Alt and then duplicate this adjustment layer, go into the top adjustment layer. Then here, I'm going to delete this transform, add another transform, and then this time we're going to make a zoom transition. So you want to hit your keyframe on your size, go back 5 or 4 frames, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right there. Go back to the end of your composition and then slightly zoom in. So you want to zoom in, you want to use the pivot points right here, put the pivot right on Jesus's face right there, just like that. You can zoom it in even more if you want to. Then from there, you're going to go into your spline panels. Then the spline panels again, Control A, F, S, and then bring this down like that, and then drag this all the way while holding Alt, and then you should have something that looks like that, which is fire. Then you're going to grab this adjustment layer once more, go into the fusion panel, and in the fusion panel, you're going to delete this transform node, add another transform node, go to the beginning of your comp, go back to like the 8th frame right here, go to the beginning of your comp again, and then zoom in once more, and then just make sure the pivot point is on her face right there. Just zoom in a bit more, and then go to your spline panels and do the same thing. And then here we're going to make this dramatic graph down here, just like this. Then put together, it should look something like that. Yeah, that's perfect. All right, guys, another effect that I used in this edit was a TRACERY effect. It's a paid plugin, link in the description. You can get it. I have it right here. When you get the plugin, you're going to hit shift space and type in tracer. It should be right there. It's called Hope's Tracer, link in the description again. So you want to add it. So I'll just take it right here. I'll hold shift and then add it in. And then you already see that it already adds the TRACERY effect on. So the first thing you want to do here is on detection, hit view detection area. Then you want to use the threshold slider to determine how much of the tracer will pick up, right? So we can say that much. It's a bit much, but when you remove it, you see it's picked up that much, but we can take it back down. So it's like a reasonable amount. So I think that's fine for now. And on the max blob count, you can put the amount of blob tracks that you want into your scene, right? So it basically reduces the amount. So we can even put it at like 3 if you want to, and there's only going to be like 3 of each, right? So that's that. And then down here we have the blur. It just brings in more or less as well. I have no idea what it does really, but yeah. And then from there we have our chords. If you zoom in, there are these numbers right here, and you can choose which font you want. So you can see that changing depending on the font I want. Let's say I choose that font, and from there you can choose that you can make it big or small. If you want, you can center it. If you want to take it to the left, you can take it to the right. So yeah, I'll just center it and reduce it a bit right there. And then you can even change the color. Let's say I want it red, or yeah, red right there. You can have it red, yeah, all of that nice stuff. And you can even choose the amount of decimal places they should be. If you want to choose 1, you can choose 1. If you want to choose like 10 for some reason, you can choose 10. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. Then down here we have the lines, these lines right here. First thing you can choose here is either if you want a line, you can switch them on or off. You can make them curved or straight, as you can see, or you can make them dashed. You can even do that. You can make them really straight like this, and then you have something that looks like that, but I prefer to have them dashed right there, something like that. Then you can increase the connecting threshold if you want to, or you can decrease it, right? So yeah, and then we can make the lines thicker by making them more visible, and then you can decrease and increase the curvature of the lines right there. Then you can increase the gaps or reduce the gaps as well. And yeah, then I'm gonna just skip through here. Same thing, the rectangle right here, you can make it thick or thin like that using the slider, or you can just remove it if you want, and you can have that, which still looks fine, but I'm gonna leave mine on and just reduce the thickness a bit. And then for our cross, we have this cross right here in the center. You can either make it really thick if you want to, or you can increase the size of the cross and change its color as well down here. So yeah, check out this. If you want this plugin, just get it on the first link in the description. Right, so now we're going to do our effect. So first thing you want to do is grab an adjustment layer once more. And from there, you're going to extend it over the whole clip, just like this. So from here, since I work on a really terrible PC, I'm just going to go into my Fusion panel right here for my time stretcher, and then I'm just going to deactivate the next preview clamped edges, and then I'm just going to go to blend, and then I'll just remove my optical flow node right there so it doesn't glitch out. Then I'm going to go into my adjustment layer once more. And then to make this effect, you're going to have Sapphire. But if you don't have Sapphire, Pete made a video on how you can do this turbulent effect on the free version of Resolve. So hit Shift Space and then add Warp Paddle. Right, add it to your note tree and then follow these settings right here. Let me show you. So on our frequency, we're going to make it 2.5 right there. And then from there, we're going to keyframe the beginning. And then we're going to go to like the 14th frame right here. And then just make it all the way. I got this paddle effect from my boy Soap. I'll link his YouTube channel down below. He makes really cool stuff. Check it out. Then I'll take it down to 0 right there. And then I'll bring this yellow thing down here, as you can see. So I'll bring it down like that. Then I'll go into my spline panel and play with the graphs. Right, so again, click in the empty space, Control A, Control F, S to smooth the graphs out. And then we're going to make a graph that looks like this. Yeah, I think that looks fine, just like that. Then once you're done, you should have something that looks like this. I feel like that looks perfect. I'll just make the graph a bit tighter. So I'll just bring this down even more. Once that's done, you should have something that looks like that. I feel like that looks perfect. And then from there, we're going to add a brightness and contrast node. So we're going to grab this adjustment layer, hold Alt, and then drag it up to duplicate it. And then go into our Fusion panel like that. Delete the warp paddle. And from there, we're going to add a brightness and contrast node right up here. Go to the beginning of our comp and then take it all the way down just slightly so you can just slightly see some of that. Keyframe. Then go to like frame 14 as well. Keyframe again. And then bring it back up like this so it's back to normal. Then go up to your spline panel. And in your spline panel, you're going to disregard the high point. So you're just going to click. And then you're going to hit Control A, F, and then just make a graph that's like kind of sharp, but not too sharp. Something like that looks fine. Once it's done, you have something that looks like this. Right, now here we're going to make this scene a lot more interesting than it already actually is. So we're going to grab an adjustment layer, this adjustment layer right here, hold Alt, copy it, go into the adjustment layer. Then we're going to delete the transform node once more. Then from here, we are going to add a brightness and contrast node. And then we're going to go to the beginning of the comp, take up the gain a bit. I think that much is fine. Go to the end of the comp and then take it back down right there. Then you're going to go up to your spline panel and then you're going to make a graph that looks slightly like this. Make sure there's some slack. You can join them if you want to. Then from there, you have something that looks like this. Really cool. Now we're going to take it up a notch by going into the same adjustment layer. And then we're going to add a flicker addition. So Shift Space and then type in flicker addition. Add it to your node tree, and then from here we're going to go to the flicker type and make it the gain. Then we're going to take the speed down quite a bit, maybe down like that. Okay, that's fine. Then we'll take down the range a bit more. So we'll keep the range at 0.139 and then we'll keep the speed at 0.311. After that, we're then going to add a vignette as well. So you're going to hit Shift Space and then we're going to add some vignettes. From there, you can take the size up a bit so it's not too overwhelming. Then we can take the slider down just like that. Then from there, you have something that looks like that. I feel like that looks really sick. Then another thing is we're going to add another adjustment layer. We're going to bring this up and then go into the Fusion panel, delete everything right here, add a brightness and contrast node again. Make sure you select everything, bring everything up, and then bring everything up. Take this adjustment layer we just made, bring it down. Go into your Fusion panel, and then we're going to take the gain up just a bit, just like that. And then we're going to do the second adjustment layer once more. Go into the comp and then just take the gain up a lot more. Just a lot more. Just like that. Then from there you have something that looks like that. I feel like that looks really sick. Right, so the whole sequence together looks something like this. Really sick. We'll make the slide transition look crazier with some one framers. Right, now from here we're going to go to the goat layer right here, and then we're going to get the adjustment layer. Hold Alt, bring it back up, go into the fusion panel, then delete everything else. Then we're going to grab a brightness and contrast node once more, keyframe the beginning, go to the end, keyframe it again, go to the beginning once more, and then take it all the way down just like that. Go to your spline panel and check the high point. Then from here again, Control A, F, and then make a graph that looks like this. We'll make this one a slightly more dramatic. Right, once that's done, you have something that looks like that. I feel like that looks sick. Then from there, we're going to grab the top adjustment layer and then put it over this clip right here, just like this. Then you have something that looks like this, but we're going to take down the gain a bit more. So from here, we'll just take the gain because it's like way too crazy. We take it down that much, not too much, maybe that much. Then we'll go up to our spline panel again, and then we'll just play with the graphs a little bit more. I feel like that looks fine. Then you have something that looks like that. Then we're going to take up the vignette a bit more because I feel like it's a bit too harsh. So now vignette would just make the size up just like that. Then from there, you have something that looks like this. Then from there, we're going to grab the same adjustment layer, put it over this, make sure it covers the whole clip, go into the adjustment layer. Then here we'll delete our vignette and our brightness and contrast node. So we just have that slight flicker. Then from there, you're going to grab this same adjustment layer, drag it again, and then put it over the whole clip. And you're going to have something that looks like this. Really sick. And then we're going to play with the graphs for the brightness and contrast, but take the brightness and contrast down a bit because that looks too overexposed. Right, then from there, we're going to grab an adjustment layer for one frame only. And then here, we're just going to make a couple like two framers, just two framers. So when you have this slight zoom in right there, go 1, 2, and then cut the axis. Go into the fusion panel of this adjustment layer, then hit shift space and add a Gaussian blur. Right there, you can take it up a bit more if you want to. Then I'm going to add this over each and every cut. One right there, and then one right there, and then one right there. So you have something that looks like that. Yeah, that looks really sick. From here, you're gonna grab this same adjustment layer again, put it over this clip, bring this down, put it down like that, and then you have something that looks like that. Same thing for this clip, we're doing the same thing, same exact thing. Same thing for this clip, we do the exact same thing. Right, so from there, we're gonna go to the beginning of our comp again, grab this adjustment layer, put it on top of this scene right here, and then bring it down. So we have something that looks like that. I feel like that looks fine, but I'll slightly zoom this clip in just a bit so we have it looking like that. Same thing for this scene, but we'll go into our fusion panel again, and then here we're going to take down the brightness and contrast gain just by a bit. Then have something that looks like that. Alright, cool. So we'll grab this same adjustment layer right here for the blurs that we made before, and then we'll just make it like one frame. Then we'll extend it over the whole clip this time. Go into the fusion panel using the Gaussian blur, the same one, keyframe, and go back 2 frames. 1, 2, and then take it down. Then you're gonna have something that looks like that. Super sick. Right, then from there, this sequence can just be left alone. I feel like it's extremely perfect. But now we're gonna make this sequence a lot more interesting than it already actually is. So we're gonna grab an adjustment layer from the media pool up here. You can close the media pool. Then we're gonna put the adjustment layer over all of the clips right here. We're going to go into the fusion panel. Then in our fusion panel, we're going to add some chromatic aberration. So you're going to hit shift space. So we're going to add chroma 8 right here. I'll link it in the description. Add it. Then you're going to see that really nice rainbow effect. As you can see right there, it looks really sick. You can over exaggerate it by boosting the angle a bit, but I feel like that looks perfect. Yeah, that's sick. That's sick already. Then we're going to add a fisheye lens. This is a sapphire plugin, or you can use a dent if you want to, but I'll use a fisheye. And then I'll just take the amount down quite a bit. Then it should look something like this. Maybe I'll take it up just a bit more. Yeah, so I'm showing a lot of emphasis on the words right here, as you can see. It's a bit glitchy, but yeah, you get the whole point. And then I'm going to go into the fusion panel once more, and then I'm going to add a Gaussian blur. And then I'm going to add an ellipse mask right here. And then make the edge super soft and then invert it. Then so that everything around it is blurred apart from the word. So we'll have something that looks like that, which is super sick. Then from there, we're going to grab this same adjustment layer right here, but we're going to add our flicker this time. So we're going to the fusion panel, we're going to delete our brightness and contrast node right there. Then we're going to have the gain flickered like that. But then we're going to add another brightness and contrast node right there, and then just bring up the gain so that it's slightly bright. We can even turn up the saturation a bit. Right, so that's sick, and I feel like it looks really cool. Right, so now we're going to cover our one framer. So the first thing we're going to do is shift all of our clips to the left side, about 4 frames. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then hit Control A, and then move every clip down like that. Go to the beginning of your comp, and then we're going to make this few couple framers. Right, so with your adjustment layer down here, we're going to make it one frame only, just like that. Then we're going to go into the fusion panel. So if you don't have optical flares, a couple flares that you can use, linked in the description. So you're going to hit shift space, and then here you're going to type in optical flares, add it to your node tree, and then add it to the dead center right here. If you want, you can hit Control G so that you know you're on the center. As you can see, I got it first try. Then you can hit Control G once more, and then go to your glow and add a sun up there and make it as small as you can, maybe like that much is fine. Then you want to go to your next frame, hold Alt and then duplicate this and go to the next one. Go to the fusion panel. This time go to the glow size and then just exaggerate it a bit more. I feel like that looks fine. And then go to the next frame again, hold Alt, duplicate it, go into the fusion panel. This time make it all the way big, and then you want to go to your streaks, and then from your glow you want to go to your streak and add an anamorphic scale, just like that. You can play with it as much as you want, so I'm gonna just have it be like that small. I feel like that's fine, and I'll take the glow up just a tiny bit. I feel like that's fine. Then once more you're gonna go into the fusion panel again for the next one. This time we're gonna over exaggerate it, so we're gonna go that much for the size. Now this time we're gonna make the glow crazy, so we're gonna go that much. If you want, you can add a star so that it's crazier, but yeah, I don't know, I'll add a star. I feel like that's fine. I'll add a star, and then from there I'll go to our caustics right here. I'll add some caustics like that, and then I'll make the radius even bigger, then count so it's more visible, just play with it a bit. Then from there, I'll even add a ring as well, so that it's crazier. I'll take the radius up a bit more, then you have something like this. So once that's done, you have something that looks like that. Now from there, we're going to add other framers to make our transitions even look better. So we're going to go here. We're going to grab this adjustment layer right here, which is a one frame. Then we're going to do 1, 2, 3 frames. That way, go into the fusion panel, delete the optical flare. Now this time, we're going to add some hotspots or brightness and contrast nodes. So I'll just use hotspots. Right, so you want to go to your threshold and take it down slightly, just quite a bit, maybe like that, and then duplicate this again. Then here we're going to take it down again, just like that, and then we're going to do the same thing here. This time let's take it down a bit more, just like that. That's fine. Once that's done, you have something that looks like that. Yeah, that looks sick. Then we're going to get the same adjustment layers, duplicate them and bring them at the top. Go into the fusion panel, delete the hotspot, and add a directional blur. This time we're going to make sure it's pointing in that direction using the angle right here. Then we're going to take it up just slightly, just like that. Duplicate it again, go into the fusion panel, take it up a bit more, and then go to the last frame. And in the last frame you can just go stupid crazy. Then you have something that looks like that. Yeah, that's actually so sick. Right, then from there I'm going to add this two framer right here, which is just a wipe from this transition pack I have right here. If you want the transitions, just go into my Discord server and you find these transitions. Then I made it black and white right here using a brightness and contrast node. I made it black and white, and then you want to get these adjustment layers and just push them up like this. So you want to go 1, 2 and then push it like that, and then push it in like that. Same with these ones, just push them in a bit more, just like that, and then you're gonna have something that looks like that. I feel like that looks sick, but we can make this look even crazier with more one framers. So we'll grab one of these one framers right here, go into the fusion panel, and then make sure the direction is the same direction as the wipe that we just made. So it should be like that, and you're gonna have something that looks like this. Yeah, that's absolutely sick. Then from here we're going to add a couple one framers. So grab this same one framer by holding Alt, put it here, go into the fusion panel, and then here we're going to add an invert node. So we're going to go, I'll use S invert, but you can use invert if you want to. I'll add it just like that, and then I'll turn down the scale just a bit, and I'll turn down the offset darks just a bit more, so we can have it look proper that way. Then I'll add film grain, so shift space and then film grain there. Then we'll take down the size a bit and the strength. Then I'll put this at the start of the comp, and then at the end of the comp as well, I'll bring this down so we're more organized right here. So yeah, we'll have something that looks like that. Yeah, that's fine. And then here I told you guys I'll show you how I did the CRT effect. So bring this whole thing up just like this. Then from there we're going to add this CRT overlay that I found. So it looks like this, as you can see right here. It's a really nice overlay. This is what they did for these other scenes right here. They used a CRT. If you can see closely, there's a CRT overlay on top of it. So we're going to add this one. And then we're going to go to the composite mode and use color burn instead. You could use add, but you could just use color burn. Color burn is fine, yeah. So we can just bring this to the top like that. I feel like that looks sick. And bring everything down right there. Then you have something that looks like that. So then we're going to grab this same invert framers with section right here, and then put it over the gold area, where it starts, so we can have this nice glitch effect and have something that looks like that. Yeah, That's perfect. Right, then from there, we're going to add this wipe effect again, once more. Then we'll bring these adjustment layers up like this. Just adjust them accordingly. Then you have something that looks like that. But to make it dramatic, we're going to add a couple more framers. Right, so I've added these bits of framers here, and I'll show you what they are exactly. So here we have an ellipse mask. So firstly, we have a background right here. Then we have an ellipse right here, and I took the soft edge up a bit and I merged to the node tree, and then the one on top. Then right here is a brightness and contrast node with the gain taken up, as you can see. Then at the far top, we have a pixel sorter with these settings right here. So we have a pixel sorter node, link in the description right here with these settings. And then we have a directional blur going this side. I think I'll just angle it up a bit so it goes like that. And then down here, we have the same ellipse mask with the background right there, but then the ellipse mask is going the other direction. As you can see, it's going from that direction to this direction. Following the Slido direction, we have another directional blur with a pixel sorter with these settings again. Then we have a brightness and contrast node again. So I'll take these framers. So I'll basically take these framers and then I'll bring this one up like this. So at the slide, so at the wipe speaks through, then you have something that looks like that. That looks extremely sick. Now we can make this a lot better by grabbing these 3 adjustment layers that we made previously and then just dragging them here. Right, once that's done, you have something that looks like this. I feel like that looks sick. Now, I'm just going to put the framers in and explain what they are because it will get extremely repetitive. Now, so for this frame, there's a brightness and contrast node here. And then there's a wipe here, which is just from the same clip I showed you. I just like with multiple wipes. And then I took the saturation down and it looks like that. And from there, the same thing. So basically a wipe here, directional blur, and a pixel sorter as well. And then we have another wipe here. So it looks like that. So same thing here, brightness and contrast node going down in brightness. And then again, a pixel sorter node right there with a directional blur, and it looks like that. Maybe I should add a blur node here. Go into the fusion panel, delete everything, add a directional blur right there. Yeah, once it's done, make sure it's going in that direction, and then you can even bring these 2 nodes here and just like reverse them so it goes like that, and then you have something that looks like that. Sick. Then from here, same thing, same ordeal, but different direction. And then yeah, so for this one, since it's a zoom in, we're going to go into the adjustment layer and we're going to add a zoom blur node right here. We're going to add a zoom blur, and then we're going to take the intensity up slightly, and then it increases in intensity and then goes crazy here, and you have something that looks like that. Then at the far end here, we have again a directional blur, and then an invert node right here, then a directional blur again. Right, so now I'm going to talk about my shakes. I said I'm really bad at making tutorials on shakes, but I'll just show you what I did and which shakes I use. I use the Dissolve shake in the Sapphire plugin, but you can use a Kawa shake. I'll link it down below with a tutorial on how to use these shakes. Clark made a really good tutorial, so yeah. So here are my settings for my Dissolve shake. So I use the dissolve amount. The dissolve amount depends on which clip it is. I'll probably even reduce it because it's a bit too much. And then I use a frequency of 2.5, and then these are my graphs right here, as you can see. So for my Dissolve shake, here are all my settings that I use. You can just take a screenshot or whatever and just copy them and then adjust it using the dissolve amount right here. For the graphs, I use this graph. Right, then from there, I lifted everything up and then I put an adjustment layer below to add some saturation and contrast to all of my scenes. As you can see, it just adds that much saturation and contrast to the scenes. So I'll show you what I did. Go into the fusion panel, and for the color corrector, I use the settings right here. Like barely put in some saturation and contrast, because if you do it too much, it ruins the whole image. Then I use the color curves and I use this to bring in some contrast. And then yeah, that's what I basically did to make this full edit. You could literally make this edit just from watching this video. It's as in-depth as it gets. And yeah, alright guys, that is the end of the video. I want to thank you guys so much for 1.3k subs on YouTube. That is actually insane, and I love you guys so much for that. I'm happy you guys love the tutorials. I have crazier stuff planned in the future, more graph edits, more graph plus flow edits as well, so that you guys can actually learn the ins and outs of DaVinci. If you've watched this far, I want you to support me. You can buy this project from my PayHip, or you can get other free project files. So thank you guys so very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.